Okay, guys. Good morning. Good morning. How are you today? Welcome to the Rouser World Caricature Art little live stream. My name is Harry. Enough of those formalities. We're going to go ahead and jump right in. So, real quick, guys. Just before we start, if hold on a second. Let me go here to do. We're gonna be talking today, real quick, briefly about how to draw eyes and how to draw head shapes. So we're going to spend about the first 10, let's just say, we're going to warm up for about 2 minutes. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and dive right into the first part of our lesson. So let's go ahead and jump in. Let me see here, guys. Let me make myself bounce up here a little bit. Looks like my, hold on a second, am I in there enough? Okay, it looks like I'm in there enough. Hold on. All right, so for our warm up, guys, we're going to go into our. Let me see for warm up. What can we do here? I don't know. For a warm up, we'll just pick something random to draw. Let's see if we can pick a little face here. These are some faces I always use, but let me see. What about this one here? All right, so let's try that face right there. So we're gonna do this kind of randomly just to warm up. Uh, I'm just gonna do a quick little head shape here. Okay, and some ears. All right, top of my shape here. Make it round. Okay, bring that down here. Put some earrings on her. All right, little neck shape here. Shoulder shape here. Let me see here. I think this is the shape I see here, so I'm gonna do something like that. Okay, something like this. All right, then we'll just put our eyebrow shapes. Okay, and then we're gonna come back and put our eye shapes. I like her eye shapes are pretty happy to me. I could do. I think I would want to go with something very kind of round here, kind of bulby. So I think I'm gonna look for. I think I'm gonna do. Let me see. How do I want to do that? You know what? I'm just gonna do it this way. I think I'm gonna start like this. I'm gonna do something real simple. Okay. And then from here, what I could do is just put the top over the eye like that. You know what I'm saying? And then come back here, and then we'll just put eyelashes. Okay. And then we'll just put it like that. Okay, so there we go, guys. I just wanted to warm up real quick because I hadn't drawn anything yet. So you might want to try to draw something before you start or whatever, and we'll do it like that. Hey, what's going on, Juju Cartoon? How are you today? How are you? How are you today? Okay, so I know it's going to be kind of hard for you guys to see my whole reference there in this, and I'm going to try to squeeze it. Let me see if I can move this over just a little bit more so everybody can see everything. So how about that? I think that looks pretty good right there. Okay. All right. So we already did our warm up drawing. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into what we're going to be talking about today. All right. So also, guys, while we're going through the stream, if you want to tip Rouser World, you can go Rouser World Cash App. Right? $ Rouser World. Okay? $ Rouser World. Okay? So if you wish to tip while we're on the stream, you can do that. Also, guys, I do also do one-on-one classes. So if you guys want to take a one-on-one class with me, I'd love to be able to meet you, greet you, and show you what I know about drawing caricatures. Awesome. So Juju, you said you did a little practicing last night. Excited to catch you live, man. Awesome, Juju. Thank you for coming in. I thank you so much for dropping in. Okay. All right. So again, guys, the tips, everything would be those would be appreciated. And again, if you want to do classes, so let's go ahead and we're going to go into the first part of our lesson. The first part of our lesson, we're going to be dealing with eye shapes. Okay. So with the eye shapes, we're going to cover three different things. First, we're going to talk about the eyes, and we're going to talk about, well, what is it about the eyes? The first thing is that the secret weapon with eyes, and I'm just going to go ahead and put that here. The secret weapon, we're going to talk about that at first, and then we're going to talk about how to find the shape, right? So the secret weapon, how to find the shape, and then we're going to do number 3, a quick demo of that. Okay, so that's going to be the itinerary for the eye shapes. If you guys want to write that down, we're going to go through it in just that way. So the first thing is, what is the secret weapon? Well, the secret weapon is your basic shapes. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back here and I'm going to go to some shapes. Okay, so let me see what I got here. Here we go. Okay, so we have some basic shapes here. And we can go through here, and these are what your eye shapes are made from. Okay, so the thing is that you have to find what shape is close to your eye shape that you're trying to do. Okay, so very simply, it doesn't matter what shape you use for any individual person. It's really the taste of that particular artist. But how the eye shape goes is you simply pick a shape. Let's just say you have a circle, all right, and then once you pick that shape, your 2 circles, right, with your eyebrows, then you just simply add eyeballs or whatever in that shape. So you do, like, if you like triangle eyes, then you might use this. And watch how every time I change it, well, it makes you feel a different sense of something every time I change that eye shape. I can make my eye shapes long like this. So watch how it makes you feel with each eye shape. This one right here makes me feel more like a kid. This one is a little bit more sturdy, a little bit more less kid, so a little bit more concentrated. These are kind of give me a similar feel, except these are a little bit longer. So it's really about what that shape that you're drawing kind of makes you feel like. Okay. Okay. So we're going to go through on our page here. We're going to get a clean sheet of paper, and we're going to draw a couple of eye shapes together, okay? Okay, so we're going to go to 10 o'clock, right? Okay. All right, so here we go. We're going to start with, our circle. 1, 2, okay? We have some eyebrows, and then we put whatever our eyeball shape is in there. And this could be whatever size you want it to be. We can go back here and make them smaller, right? And we can do like this, right? Now we can go here to our triangle shapes. And we can do the same thing. We can make them like this, right? Right? We could do something different, make it look like this, right? We can suggest that shape. So, for instance, if I want to make it look real cool, like I didn't draw an actual triangle, here it goes. 1, 2, watch. 3. Okay, now you see I drew the same thing, but it's still based off of this shape. Okay, so if you want to draw your stream, if you want to draw your shape a little bit more jazzy or a little bit smoother, you want a little bit more flowy lines, then you can use something like this. If you want to use something, maybe you're just starting caricature, you're kind of not sure where you want to go, you don't know how to use your pen that well yet and all that, then this is where you want to start at. And then eventually, once you become comfortable with using these, then you'll get comfortable with playing with the shape. Okay, we can also come over here, we can use teardrops. So you can look at this teardrop shape. Okay, see that right there? So now our eyes look like teardrops. If you go over here, you got arrow. You can. It's the combinations are literally infinite when it comes to drawing eyes. You can use these shapes right here, these trapezium shapes, really good for drawing eyes. So you can do stuff like this and turn them. You could turn it upside down and perhaps draw the shape like this instead, right? Where the eyes look kind of hangy, right? Kind of sleepy looking, right? So that's all the same shape. So each shape is going to invoke or make you feel a certain way. And in order to be able to do this, you have to literally tap into that feeling. And then once you tap into that feeling by saying a word, I like to use words. So when you say a word, you want to say words like square. You want to say words like foundational. You want to say words like edgy. You want to say words like soft or cloudy. If you've ever stopped and touched anything, then you want to feel that feeling, and then you want to imagine what it's like to touch something like that. You get what I'm saying? Like sometimes I'll draw a nose, and when I draw a nose, some people's noses look very stuffy to me. So when I draw that nose, I'll say, oh, they have a stuffy nose. And when it says stuffy, well, in order to put stuffy in stuff, when you think stuffy, you think there's a lot. You think of a pillow. You think of stuffing a pillow. You think of stuffing a Christmas stocking. You think of stuffing something, right? So if you're stuffing things, then if you're saying that word, it's going to make it hard for your hand to draw a square when you're thinking of stuffy, because you don't think of a square when you think of stuffy. You get what I'm saying? So you need to kind of let your vocabulary match whatever shape it is that you're trying to draw, if that makes sense to you. Okay? So what this is, again, is you take a simple shape, and then you take that simple shape and you make it into a eye shape. So what we want to do is I want to demonstrate this with a couple of models for you to show you just how effective it is when you just use basic shapes. Okay, and what shape you choose based off of what emotion that you want. So I'm going to go back over here, and I'm going to what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a character here. We're going to pick some eyes out. Okay, so we look at these eye shapes right here. Okay, hold on. All right, I'm going to blow them up real big for you so you can see. Okay, so we can see our eye shapes there. I'm going to put this one over here. Okay, these eye shapes right here, she has an air of seriousness to her eyes, okay? So what that's going to mean to me is that I'm going to draw shapes that mean something serious, all right? So let me show you what that means. So if I have let's just say I have these are her eyebrows, all right? Now what shape would be something like this, kind of serious? Let me show you what shape would be really easy to draw. All right, look at this shape. This is called, look, this is I think it's called a rhombus, okay? Rhombus shape. Okay, it's one of the basic shapes that you'll learn in geometry. Okay, so it's what it is. It's actually that eye shape close together. Now this is the shape that closely resembles it. But what else can I do with that? If I'm a different artist, I might go with a shape like this. I might just use let's say I could use a shape where it's kind of just the lower part of the eye. So I might be able to do something like let me see if I can get away with doing this. So I can do this and this. Okay? You see that I can do that. That might be another way. This might be the first way. Okay? I'm just doing something real quick here. Okay? This one might be a little bit different. Okay? So this shape, I use a little bit different of a shape. But what shape am I thinking about when I drew this? Well, this way, sometimes what I'll do, especially if I don't want to put too much emphasis on the outer shape, what I'll do is I'll use mostly the pupil shape. So I'll draw, for instance, if the head is like this, once I draw my line and my line for my nose, right, this is where my eyes will go. What I'll do is I'll kind of hang a shape off of here that I want, whatever your basic shape is, and then I surround it with another shape. Does that make sense to you? Okay. So pretty much drawing eyes for a person doesn't really mean that you have to get this exact shape. You just really want to be able to get the right relationship. In other words, how close or far away they are from each other. So if I drew two circles, I can draw them like this, right? I can draw them like this in relation to each other. I can draw them like let me see. I can draw them like this in relation to each other. I can draw them like this in relation to each other. You see, so this is how you could get wacky cartoons, something a little bit more serious, something a little shocked, right? You know what I mean? So you got that. You got that, right? You see? So you can do anything you want with that shape. All right. So let's try this with another model. Okay. So this is how this is going. Let me see. Let me go to another model here. All right. So let's look at her eyes real quick. All right. We'll go ahead and make them bigger here. Okay. And what I noticed about her eyes feel very. She has an intensity to her eyes, very an intensity, but a softness at the same time. But I would lean more toward the intensity. So what I would do here with this shape is I would want to use something that's kind of edgy. And edgy means that I'm going to go to anything that has any type of turns in it. So squares have turns, rhombuses have turns, rectangles have turns. What else has a turn? All of these different shapes. Triangles have very, very turny type of ideas, right? So watch, the trick that I'm trying to show you is this. If you'll pay attention here, all right, look at these eyes, and any of these shapes I can use to form this caricature. I got a lot of stuff, a lot of things in my arsenal. So let's go with weapon number one. Let's say we decided to use this one. Okay, this rectangle here. Well, if I got her eyebrows here, I can use those two rectangles, right? 1, 2, right? 3, 4. Okay, and then I add some eyelashes. So you can see here, that looks like her, even though that looks like something I can use for her eyes, even though I didn't use the exact shape of the eye. Now this one leans more toward the exact shape, but either one of these shapes can make a convincing caricature. Okay, so I can move down and draw the same exact eyebrows, right? And then now I can use this shape here. And then look inside. If you use an edgy shape outside, you use an edgy shape inside. Okay? You see, so now I got this shape. So this shape and that shape both work for her eyes. You get what I'm saying? And what about, so this shape is the one I drew here. Now let's see about the triangle. So if I go here and I draw a triangle shape, can I use that? Yes, I can, because it's edgy and it makes me feel edgy. You see? So there are 3 different shapes that I use that are completely contrary to each other, but yet they all end at the same result. Okay? So this is how you draw eyes. You want to practice learning what you want to do. You want to learn what you want to say first. I think that the problem is when we draw a character, when I started drawing caricature, one of my biggest problems was not saying what I wanted. I wasn't drawing with an intention. And so when you don't have an intention, just like if you don't have a purpose in life, well, what happens when you don't have purpose? You tend to try to do too much, or you don't know where you want to go. So shapes, again, remember guys, before we go any further, that it's all about, let me see this card. It's all about shapes, okay? It's all about shapes, and it's all about how you relate to your shapes. Each shape has an emotion attached to it. Why do you think that they use triangles to do directional things? Like if you go on a highway, you see triangles everywhere. Get off here, go here, because triangles make you think direction. Triangles make you think purpose, objective. You get what I'm saying? Squares make you think objective, purpose, solid, foundational. Those type of words are going to start popping into your mind, and so you want to use those when you're drawing the picture. So I'm looking at a face, and I might look. Let's go over here. Let's do one more before we close out this particular part. Let's look here and say we got this guy here. Okay, now we want to draw his face, and I'm looking right at his eyes. Okay, eyes only. I'm gonna move it over just a little bit more because I know it's hard to. I'm working with 2 different types of screens here, so it's kind of hard to. All right, okay. So, in fact, what I might be able to do. Hold on, guys. Let me just move this up a bit, and I'm just gonna and then I'm gonna adjust it here. Okay, there we go. All right. So let's say we're drawing this guy. Well, what type of shape can I use for him? Well, again, I want something here. Does this look like it's whimsical? Does it look like it's soft? Does it look like a baby? Does it look like, does he look not serious or something like that? Well, if you notice that right off the top, right, you already know that your options are limited when it comes to any type of curvy shape. So that's going to cut out hearts. That's going to cut out anything that looks like a circle where the shape doesn't have any edges on it. You don't want to do shapes like that because it's not going to. So for instance, let's say even if I did try it, I could get something that looks like him, right? Maybe, let me see. But it doesn't feel the same. You see how it doesn't feel? It feels different. It doesn't feel right. Okay. But what if now let's go back to what shape we need to use. So we go back here to our triangles. Okay. If we go back to our triangles, if we go with an edgy shape, any type of edgy shape, anything that has edges in it, it's going to work. And that's going to really, really, again, limit the options. You're not going to be thinking about all these options. I think, again, sometimes when we have a lot of options, we tend to go overboard with things. So that, guys, is going to be the first part of our lesson for today. The first part of our lesson dealt with eyes. Okay, your secret weapon to drawing eyes is the shape that you choose, and that shape is based off of the emotion, right, or feel of shape. Shapes have feelings. So this is the one time you can go with your feelings and it won't be wrong. Boom. All right. Now, the next part, guys, we're going to go to the second part of our lesson because I wanted to cover eye shapes real quickly with you. Don't want to give you too much information, right? And the next part that we're going to do, this is really going to be awesome. And this is going to be where we go into our head shapes, okay? So this is head shapes 101. First of all, with head shapes, let me tell you this. There's not that many head shapes, okay? There's a surprisingly limited number of common head shapes. You can either go round, right? You can go square, or you can go pear, right? Or you can go diamond. Let me see what else we got. Hearts is a diamond. And let me see, diamonds. What else do we have here? And then we have like a heart, right? So it's really not that many shapes, all right? Now, I'm going to do a whole nother video about like how to manipulate these shapes and all that. We're going to stick to the basics of it today. So we're going to discard that. And I'm going to go over here and we're going to find some head shapes for us to draw, okay? So I think the best way to do that is I like to go over here. I want some new drawings here. So we're going to go to Pinterest here. And on Pinterest, I have different models and stuff that I came up with, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to go with our head shapes, okay? So let's say we're drawing this guy, okay? So you see that guy right there. Now, what kind of head shape is that? Well, I look at the head shape, and just like your eyes have a feeling, well, your head has a feeling too. So if you look at this shape overall, this man does not look intimidating to me. If I walked up to him on the street, I wouldn't feel intimidated by him. And usually that's going to be a factor of why you feel that. Generally, because people judge books by their covers. So if you walk up to a person, you judge them, but quietly, right? Only in your head. You know what I'm saying? What does the shape of their head make you feel like? If you couldn't see any of their features, what does that shape make you feel like? Well, this shape makes me feel like a lot of, it makes me feel, what's the word I'm looking for? I feel some softness about it. So I don't feel any of these shapes here. Okay? I don't feel anything soft, and I definitely don't feel like a lovey face, because you can definitely tell a heart-shaped face. I can spot those a mile away. So this one is going to be more based toward either a circle or a teardrop. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be something that imitates one of these shapes. For instance, let's experiment with a teardrop. So I can do the teardrop one of two ways, right? I can make it larger at the bottom, smaller at the top, which is what I would do in this situation. I'd make a teardrop like this. Okay? So now this becomes his head shape. You see? If you do this, right? Look. I'm just, you see, man? Do you get what this will become? This is the closest thing to his head that we can use. So we can do something where the energy goes kind of out like this, right? You get it? Okay. Blah, 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 right? So we could do something like that. Or what else can we do with this? Let me go ahead and draw it straight out for you. So here we go. So I'm going to do something that's going to be teardrop. Okay, so here we go. Now another shape I can use, another way you can use this shape, not just teardrops. Listen, I'm going to show you something that's going to be, that's really kind of awesome. When you use your shapes, right? Let's say you decide that the shape is kind of foundational, but it's almost a cross between two feelings. You feel foundation, but you also feel like it's a little bit soft. So it's like a middle ground. Well, you know what you do in that situation? You curve the shape. You get what I'm saying? And then it turns into a middle ground. And then that's like if you ain't sure. So if you're not sure, always pick B. You know what they said in high school? Well, if you're not sure, go with a morph of a shape. You kind of feel both ways. Go with a shape that kind of can morph something. So if you, instead of going triangle, you might a triangle like this. You might go with a triangle like this. All right? It looks more like a mushroom here. You get what I'm saying? So you have to learn how to, all caricature is the manipulation of basic shapes. Okay? So let's go ahead and draw this guy. So here, what I'm looking at here is I'm looking at really a cross, and that's what I felt when I drew him. But the first time this one was a good shape. I could have got there with this one as well, but this one is more like a cross to me. So it's a cross between a rectangle and a circle, and so it's called a resquircle. I don't know. I just said it like that, right? All right, and real quick, guys, if you guys are enjoying the live stream, don't forget, guys, tips are appreciated. If you want to tip, tips can be done at Cash App, $Rouser World. Thank you so much for tipping me today. And then also you have classes if you wish to take a one-on-one class with me. I do offer one-on-one classes, rouserworld.com/classes. You guys can check that out. All right, so let's go back to our lesson and make sense out of everything I'm telling you. Okay, so watch how I do this shape. Watch. I'm gonna do the top of the rectangle, right? Then I'm gonna put a line here, right? That's gonna be where my eyes are gonna go, and then I'm gonna put the bottom of my rectangle. But when I get to the bottom of my rectangle, I'm gonna kind of bow it out a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna kind of, you get what I'm saying? But all in all, I'm trying to stick to a rectangular shape. See, so when I get to my ear shapes, okay, I look at the direction again in my ear shapes, right? And then we're going to combine those with, obviously, our eye shapes. But we're just talking about heads right now, okay? So now we have our neck, and then we have our head shape. And then you can see here that it's easier to put your hair on a shape once you already understand what shape it is you want to draw, okay? From there, you just start putting your features. 1, 2, right? And if we look here, we have what we'd have here, what I would do is I would do something like this, right? Okay, but then I would do something like this. You see how I can put stuff around the shape? I can make it big first, and then I can do like this, and I can put my eyebrow shapes, right? These big bushy eyebrows, right? Then I can come here and put this nose shape like this, right? Drop, and then I'll come down here, right? And what am I feeling here? I'm feeling a really droppy shape like this. Droppy. Okay? So this might be like a real quick 2-minute cartoon that you can draw for somebody. Okay? Does that make sense to you guys? Is any of this making sense? I don't know if am I talking too fast? Okay. Now, and if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment, make questions, whatever. So let's go through and draw a couple of head shapes. So what head shapes do we have here? Okay, we got this head shape. What does that head shape make me feel? That head shape makes me feel it's a cross between this is a cross between a square and a circle, or a rectangle and a circle, either one. So when I'm drawing his face, what I'm going to do is morph these together to come up with a shape like this. You see? So when I put my hair on this shape, right? Right? Okay, then I can add all my features in the middle. You see? Just like so. Okay? Oh, thank you, Luke. Luke, I just wanted to thank you so much. I saw that somebody tipped me on the Cash App. Mr. Luke, I certainly appreciate you. Are you watching from, I don't know if you're watching from YouTube or if you're watching from TikTok, but I just wanted to tell you I'm grateful. Thank you so much for the tip that you gave me. I appreciate you. Okay, so again, we want to look at what it feels like. Today is about the feeling of the shape. Look at the feeling, and then once you feel a certain way about it, then you draw your feeling and stop trying to draw something exactly as you see it. Okay, so that might be one shape. Let's go through. We're just going to do a couple of these together because this part here again is strictly about our head shapes. Okay, so let's go, and we'll deal with 3/4 shapes and all that stuff here later. Let's look at this shape right here. This shape does not make me feel like a building. It doesn't feel like a building to me. If it doesn't feel like a building, if it doesn't feel like Superman's face or anything like that, then you know that you're going to go to something that it's going to be a cross between something. So if you look at if you know your shapes, get familiar with them, you can see that this shape is like this. Most of the weight is in the bottom of his face. So this is what you're drawing. So it's a cross between this and this. Okay, so what's happening here is this. See? Right, I'm just going to do, all right, look. Okay. Wait, I'm going to go ahead and let me draw it real quick for you. But either way, let me see. You get what I'm saying? So this is a big guy. So I'm making a cartoon out of him. I'm not making him into his regular size. So you get what I'm saying? This is just, most of this is about, this is an instinctual, art is a very instinctual process. And you can't approach art and try to be an analyst, because analysts are usually don't know. You got the people that are in the field fighting the battle, then you got the people in the background that telling what the people to do, trying to tell the people on the field what to do, but they don't know because they ain't never been on the field before what the real situation is. That's the importance of having actually been on the field so that you can also relate to the experiences. You get what I mean? If I said that right. Okay, so you don't have to analyze everything to be able to draw it. Okay, you just have to kind of go with that instinctual feeling. You're already doing it, but learn to rely on that thing more. Okay. Hey, right on, Luke. You need more practice. All right, awesome. And that's what we all need. Heck, even I need more practice. All right. So let's go ahead and we're going to do this guy's face. Tell you what, I'll just use Use this right here, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and do this guy's face right here, okay? You ready? So let's say I want to draw his, I'm gonna draw this shape. So watch this. Watch how I move my pen. This is the top of the shape, eyes. This is the bottom of the shape, okay? This would be his beard, and he has little ears, right? And then what I would do here, I'm gonna shorten this shape down, right? Like that. You see? So all of the energy in my head is flowing like this. See how I'm not really overthinking this? I just want to put a basic idea, basic shape down. Then I want to come back and outline where my features are going to go. And I should be able to see my cartoon from here before I ever put a feature in the face. You get how that works? Okay? So it's very, very simple. Let's keep going, guys. I want to draw more than I talk. So let's go here to this guy. You can go back and rewatch the video if you want. We're going to do another head shape. This head shape right here looks like a cross between this and this. Okay? No, actually it looks like a cross between this and this. Okay? So what am I drawing here? Watch my pen. One. Watch how I'm going to smooth the sides off so it doesn't look like it has hard lines on the outside. You see how it automatically looks like his head shape? This is his chin right here. His hair is just this little thing here. And what I'm going to get in my next video is going to be about foreshortening, and not foreshortening, but what's the word I'm looking for? Learning how to manipulate the shapes. We'll do that in our next video. In fact, let me make a shape manipulation. That's going to be our stream for Saturday. So if you guys want to join me for that, we're going to be talking about that, because I think that's a question that you might have now that I'm sitting here doing this. All right, so this is that shape, right? So now you got here, and you come to the side, and you add stuff on, and you never want to add a shape on the outside that's going to take away from the head shape on the inside. So notice how all of my shapes I built for his hair follow the shape that I drew on the pad. I'm not trying to even the shape out. I want it to maintain that look where the energy is going like this in the face. And then you can see my ear lobes here, right? His little ears, right? And then look, from here, we got our eyes, right? His eyes are going to be somewhere up here. His nose is going to be somewhere up in here, like this, right? You can see it. It's going to be somewhere in here. This is what his nose is going to be, right? Somewhere in this area here. And then you're going to have something like this. You get what I'm saying? So you can see the caricature again, another situation where you can see the caricature before it actually starts forming. You can see it in the head shape. Okay? Your head shape is probably 90% of your cartoon. So if you can draw the head shape, the rest of the picture should be pretty easy for you to get through. All right, let me just sharpen my pencil here. All right, so let me see here. Let's go to our next one here. How much time we got? 4 more minutes on this one. Okay. Now, guys, real quick, while we're gonna in about 4 more minutes, 5 minutes. If you guys have been drawing along with me and you want to send some artwork into me, you can send your artwork into me, and you can send that in through Facebook. You guys are already on Rouser World, so you know how to spell that. Just go to Rouser World on Facebook and message me, or Instagram. If you have an Instagram, you can do it there as well. If you don't have an Instagram, then you can go to our Rouser World at yahoo.com. Okay? So any one of those, you can send your artwork in, what you've been practicing today, and I'm going to allot about 10 minutes of the stream to doing Q&A about your artwork. So if you've drawn something and you want me to give you an opinion or some feedback about what you've drawn, then you can send those things in. Again, guys, don't forget that tips are super appreciated, guys. 52-year-old father of 3, Still raising father of three. I got a 1 year old, 2 year old, 1 year old, 4 year old. My 14 year old, this is her first day of high school today. So that's crazy, right? I had to actually take her to high school. And so, the tips are going to go to a good cause, right? We want to keep this thing going. I love to be able to do this full time. This is really what my heart's desire is to do, to be a full time instructor with this. So I've been doing this for many years, and I just have a passion for it. Let's get back into this. So we got about, go ahead, guys, and start sending that in. It would be nice. You got about 2 to 3 more minutes to go ahead and send those in so we can go ahead and do the commentary. I'll look in my files to see if anybody sent any. But while that's going on, I'm going to be continuing with the lesson itself. All right, so let's go here to this face right here. Now, you're wondering, well, what happens when you can't see... what happens when you can't see the let me see if this one will blow up. I don't know. Let me see. Okay, here we go. So this one is like, well, what happens when you can't really see the hair up here? Well, it's the same thing. You look at the jawline. So what I would do here, usually with ladies, I like to give them a little bit more. I like to give them cheekbones. So what I do is I think of shapes that would allow me to draw cheekbones, right? Like, let me see. If you're familiar with this shape, this is an easy shape to do that from. So if you do this and combine this with a circle, well, you have a female caricature. So what happens, watch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, neck, right? Hair, look, hair. You just soften things out. I'm just doing it so you can see the shape, but you soften these out, and then you come back and you start adding your hair to the shape. You see how it starts? See how it starts forming? Here's her earrings, right? Here's her ears, right? And then all her features inside of the shape. You see? You just make it real, keep it real simple, okay? All you're doing is combining whatever your knowledge of shapes. You get what I'm saying? You're taking shapes and you're putting them together. Okay. Okay, Julia. Let me see, Julia. Is that Juju? Is that I don't know. Okay, Juju. Thank you for coming to the stream today, and I certainly look forward to huh? She sent it on Cash App. Yeah. Okay. So Julia, I wanted to thank you so much for the tip. I just got a tip from you, and I appreciate you for blessing me with that tip. So thank you. All right. So, thank you so much. Thank you so much, JB. I appreciate your tip there. Thank you, JB. Okay. Man, super awesome, guys. I appreciate the love you're showing today. All right, so let's go ahead, guys, and we're going to hold up right there on the eyes. That is the head shape. So that is everything you need to know about beginning head shape. So if you have more questions about that, remember, guys, you can also take classes with me, and I can give you something a little bit more personalized. Again, just go to rouserworld.com/classes. Let's look here and see if anybody sent anything in today. Okay, so we have a scheduling update. We have this, we have that. Okay, so we got okay, I don't see any questions so far about that. So we can do one or two things, guys. Is anybody going to be sending anything in? Just go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up if you're wanting to share some of your artwork. Anybody can comment, let me know. This way, if you don't, I can spend a few more minutes on these head shapes. And then from the head shapes, we're going to start putting these things together. So, in fact, I'll tell you what. I'll just go ahead and stop. I'm going to start going into the next section, okay, of the art stream. Okay. So, the first thing that we covered again was the eye shapes. And eyes being based off of shapes, and those shapes being based off of emotions and feelings, which is okay to use in this particular type of art. Now, and we talked about how we can take the head shape also, and we can use the same concept when we draw in the eyes. We can use the same concept when we draw the head shape. Remember that the head shape, or whatever part of the facial drawing. It's just a matter of you being able to recognize a basic shape. You don't want to draw specific shapes in cartoons. You always want to draw a shape that feels like and looks like, but is not that shape. Okay? Don't draw the exact shape, because that's when you will get it wrong. If you're too exact, your cartoon is going to look like a portrait, and then you're defeating the purpose of being a caricature artist, if that makes sense to you. Okay? All right, so now what I want to do now is I'm going to go to the next section, which is taking the eyes and taking the head shapes, and we're going to combine them together to show you how to put them together. Okay? So if I had to label this part of the stream, it would be how to combine the eyes, and head shape. Okay? How do we do that? All right. Well, the good answer to that is it's not that hard. Okay? And all you have to do is have an open mind about it. Okay? So let's go ahead and go back to Pinterest here. Okay? And we're going to combine head shapes and eyes. So we're going to be basically saying this is our head shape. How do we know where to put our eyes at? Okay? So let me show you how this works. In basic, this is basically what's going on. Once you choose your head shape, what you want to do is think of, once you choose the overall shape, then you want to think of that shape in proportions, kind of like cutting a pie or cutting a sandwich. Think of a sandwich. Sometimes I like to cut my kids' sandwich. This is a sandwich. This is a lettuce and tomato sandwich, right? It's tomato hanging out right there. Well, anyway, sometimes I'll cut my kids' sandwich, oh crap, like that, right? Hold on. Sometimes I'll cut it like this, right? Sometimes I'll cut the sandwich like this, right? Well, in the head shape, what you want to do is you want to cut the sandwich where your eyes go. So cut the sandwich where you want. So if I want my eyes to be closer to the top of my head, I'll cut the sandwich here, okay? And then what I do is I take my eye shape, whatever that shape is, and I draw the basic shape there, whatever that basic shape is. If it's circles, put circles, okay? If you got another shape down here and you put it here, and it's triangles, put those triangles there. And what you want to do is you want to figure out how far apart are they? Are they out here, right? Or are they close together? Or are they so close together that they actually touch each other? A good way to do that is to always place a center line in your drawing. Okay, so this is telling me how far apart everything is from zero. Zero is the middle point of your face, okay? If you have a minion, all you have to do is just draw a circle right there, right? Because they only got one eye, right? All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to do a couple of models, and we're going to combine these eye and ear shapes together, okay? So eyes and head shapes together, excuse me. All right, let me sharpen my pencil again. I keep breaking my lead. I got heavy hands today. All right, hold on one sec, guys. That one there. Uh-oh. Hold on. Da-da-da-da. Okay, so give me just a moment here. Almost done. Almost there. Yeah. Okay, just like that. And then, let me see. Okay. All right. So let's go to this guy here. Okay. So his eyes are close together to me. Okay. See that guy? So when I draw him, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to look at his head shape, and I'm going to say, well, what does that head shape look like to me? This head shape to me looks like an upside down bullet, like this. That's a regular basic geometry shape. And then from that bullet, his ears, what I'll do is I'll say, okay, I want most of this to be jawline. So usually what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop a pencil right here in my mind. And I think, well, what where is there more mass at in this drawing? Well, then it makes it common sense. Now, exaggeration means that you want to push the exaggeration. So you're not going to draw. That we can tell there's more down here than it is up here. So push it. Go up here a little bit more. Leave less space than what you're seeing in the picture. Don't ever try to do it based off of it. Don't do it trying to be exact. Do it with the mind that you're going to exaggerate things. So when you exaggerate things, you're going to move things. So if this is a little, he has a little forehead. I'm going to make his head a little bit littler. So now when I draw this, now watch what I do. When I draw this, I'm going to draw his hair. So his hair is going to be like, let me see. His hair will be something like this. I'm just doing something real quick. Okay, right there. And then you can see his ears are out here. You see, all of this is kind of going down here. Now watch when I put his brows. Right? And now what shape am I looking for here? When I look at his shape, I see foundation. So I'm not going to do it. What I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to draw the shape that I feel. So do I want triangles? I want squares? What do I want? I can draw anything foundational. So I can literally go here and draw 2 squares if I want. So let's say I think I'm going to do two triangles. So I'll do something like this. Okay? So you can see how it will go together, because now all of this is bunched in here, all this, and you have so much more space to put all your other features. Then you come back down here, right? You got your nose shape, right? His nose shape is really something like this. Okay, I like to put simple nose shapes, right? You see here, right? And then, right? See? Now see what, by following the rules of what I want to do, right? I can easily come up with a cartoon that looks similar to this guy. Okay, it doesn't take a whole lot once you learn to draw from your feelings. That shape is a foundational shape. Could I have used something else? Yes, I could have used a square or whatever, but I'm looking at these and these are clearly going to be some type of rectangle. And what gave that away to me was that if I look at this angle here, I look at the dominant angle. So if you look at this fold over the eye, the line of it's going like this, and then this one is kind of like that to me. So it looks like that'll fit right in there to me. So that's why I picked this shape. You get what I'm saying? I don't have to draw an exact eye shape. I just need to catch the angles what are you trying to say in general? That's really what I'm doing. Okay? So, all right, guys, that is how to draw eyes and heads 101. We're going to go ahead now. We're going to go into the last part of our stream, guys. If you guys have never been to my stream before, after every stream, I like to do a word of the day. So I've chosen a word of the day today. I'm just going to go ahead real quick, and we're going to go to that real quick. So hold on one sec. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. All right. So, guys, I want to thank you so much for coming out to our drawing session of the stream. That was super awesome of you to come. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to transition into the last part of our stream. I like to, at the end of every stream, do a word of the day, because the first part of drawing is not drawing on the paper. The first part of drawing is mental. Okay, if you can't learn to form pictures and images in your mind, and you can't learn to be at peace in your mind, well, you can't learn how to do this particular art form. You can't learn how to, you'll never grow to the heights that you want to grow to. When it comes to your artwork, when it comes to your life, when it comes to different sections, you're going to need that part of you to be developed. And I believe that that is exactly what God did when He blessed us with these scriptures. It was a way to help us to be able to process the world. A lot of the times, it's not that we can't draw; it's that we have the noise of the world just really, really, really bogging us down and holding us down and defeating us. With now this day of social media, we have so much things that we can do and get into that are, everybody thinks they have ADD now, but really that's not true. What it is that you just overstimulated, and to be honest with you, there's nothing wrong with you. It's just that that's not natural for you to feel that way. So in this word of the day today, I'm going to go to the Lord allowed me to, as I was reading, this is where the Lord took me today, and I want to. This is going to be fitting because it's actually going along with our lesson today, which is building on a solid foundation. Building on a solid foundation. So if you guys have your Bibles handy, if you want to receive this word today, we can go to Matthew. We're going to go to Matthew chapter 7, and we're going to go to verse 24. That's where we'll be reading from today. Okay? So here it says that anyone who listens to my teaching and builds and follows it is wise, like a person who builds a house on a solid rock. Today I told you when you draw your faces, okay, that when you pick your eye shapes need to be a foundational shape. It doesn't need to be something that you tried to come up with, you tried to reinvent the wheel. You need to make your decision based off of foundation. Okay? Creativity comes within boundaries. So by understanding that, you can take circles, diamonds, squares, hearts, whatever you want, and you can create those eyes with that shape. We also showed you how you can do that with the head shapes. Okay, these are foundational shapes. That means that this is what your caricature is going to be built off. This is what each feature of your face is going to be built up. And I would think in the same way in our life, these shapes are represented by the Word of God. Okay, the Word of God is an uplifting, inspiring word. Words have meaning. Words have life. Remember, I told you before you pick a shape, you have to say to yourself, what does that make you feel like? How does that move you emotionally? How does it move you mentally when you look at that shape? And these are the things you need to really, really be in tune with. And if you're not in tune with that, it's going to be very hard to, again, elevate and see past what's just in front of you. A lot of the times you want to draw a caricature, but it winds up looking like a portrait. And it's because there's a disconnect between the mind, body, and soul are not all working in tandem with one another, but they're actually separated, all trying to do their own thing. And one of them is trying to make up a caricature, while one of them is trying to do what needs to be done at home, while another one is thinking that they want to be popular, so they want to come up with something that nobody's ever came up with before. But the thing is that the scripture says that there's nothing new under the sun. So anyone who listens to this teaching and follows it is wise, like a person who builds a house on a rock. Now listen, it says, though the rain comes in and torrents and the floodwaters rise and the winds beat against that house, it won't collapse because it was built on a bedrock. Remember I told you, once you have that shape, once you put that shape, if you trust your feeling, if you trust the feeling and you trust the word of God, you trust that word that you have put your faith in, you trust that word, and you put that word down there, I'm telling you, I guarantee you, you will almost never, I will guarantee you will never miss. I'm going to use the word never. You can never go on the wrong way when you base your work on a solid foundation. Stop trying to come up with your own word for everything. That's the problem in our world today. Everybody's trying to come up with a word to mean, and so there's so many words that you understand that when you put too many words in there, everything becomes ambiguous. Do you understand what's going on in your mind? So if you have too many options, there's too many ways to define what one thing is, then, you get what I'm saying? What am I supposed to be drawing? And then that's where the disconnect comes in your artwork, because you don't have a foundation to start from, because the foundation, literally, as we keep going, is not solid. Okay? So when problems come in your life, what this is saying, when you think you can't do it, when you're getting a little nervous, when you're getting a little down, when you're getting a little defeated, let me tell you what we should do. At this point, this is when we need to go back to the foundation. We need to stop, we need to back up, and we need to tell ourselves, wait a minute, all I'm doing is drawing basic shapes and putting them together, just like when I was a little kid. That's all I'm doing. And all I'm doing is making one of them bigger than the other, or you know what I'm saying, based off of what I want to think, what I think is funny. That's all you're doing. This is the foundation of caricature. If you build your foundation of the whole idea of caricature off of this, I guarantee that you'll be successful at this. Okay? Then it says, but anyone who hears my teaching, listen, anyone who hears me today, I gave a class today, and my teaching and doesn't obey it is foolish. This is what the word of God says. Now, I'm not God. I'm talking about the word. I'm saying as far as me being your teacher and you having you're putting if you don't, you're giving some type of honor to me by calling me teacher, and then you're saying, okay, this is going to be my teacher, I'm going to do it the way the teacher says. Well, this is the ultimate teacher. God is the one that created everything. So what he does, he says, but anyone who hears his voice, anyone who hears what he has to say about the foundation of things and doesn't obey it is foolish. They're saying they're being foolish, right? Because like a person who builds a house on sand. Now, who would be foolish enough to go out to the beach and build a house on top of a sand? Who would be foolish enough to build a house on top of something that's ambiguous? That means that you can come there. It has no quality. It has no feel. It has no definition. It has no real definition in life. We don't even know what this thing is for, right? You get what I mean? So you run into that situation and then you just start building on things and building and investing in things and wasting time and resources and wasting your life, building your life on something that is not foundational and that is going to fall and is going to crumble. So it says, but anyone again who hears my teaching and doesn't obey it is foolish, like a person who builds a house on the sand. When the rains and floods come and the winds beat against that house, it will collapse with a mighty crash. Okay, this is I can't draw a straight line. I can't get my life together. My kids won't listen to me. My husband won't come around. My wife won't come around. There's no way out. There's no way out. There's no way out. That's why, because you know why you feel like there's no way out? Because just like on the drawing board, you have when you give yourself too many options, everything becomes ambiguous. And how do you know which one to pick? If nothing has a definition, if there's no clear direction, how do you know which way to go? You get what I'm saying? So that's when that comes here. When soon as a problem hits you in your face in life, right? People, you can't develop a prayer life overnight. You got to do this daily. You got to be into it. And as soon as that thing hits, bam, you fold up under the pressure. So today I want to encourage you guys to draw on the solid foundation. Draw on the power of God. The power of God. And relate it to your caricatures. I want you to begin to think this way, not just draw this way, but I want you to think this way, plan your life this way, pick your wife this way, pick your girlfriend this way, choose your classes this way. You know what I mean? Work out this way, walk this way, talk this way. I promise you that everything in your life will go better when you have a foundation and you stop living life in this ambiguous space where everything means anything and everybody, you can do whatever you want and all that. That does not work. That only works for foolish people. But the Bible says that it says wide is the road to destruction and narrow the road to salvation, and that few will ever find it. That means that what I'm telling you, not that many people are willing to do this, but that doesn't mean that you have to be the one that's not willing to do it. Okay, so guys, that is my word of the day. Remember to build your house or build your rock on a solid foundation. Okay, so guys, I want to thank you so much for coming out to the stream today. You guys were super awesome. I'll be doing my next stream on Saturday at 9:30 a.m. I hope to have you guys there as well. We can do some more things again next week. We're going to be talking about shape, or this Saturday, we're going to be talking about shape manipulation. That means what are some of the cool things that we can do with just basic shapes? or our foundational shapes. So I want to thank you again, guys. Thank you so much. If you tip, if you want to take a class with me, remember rouserworld.com /classes. And then also, guys, if the Lord leads your heart to do so, you can also tip, guys, at $Rouser World. We do have a Cash App where you can tip if you feel like, hey man, this gentleman here blessed me with this lesson or whatever, and or whatever, and you just want to be a blessing to us and our family today. I certainly appreciate you guys. So you can do Cash App at $Rouser World. All right, guys. So that is our stream for today. You guys have a blessed and awesome Tuesday, and I'll see you guys next time. Do 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 do.